Welcome to the Raising Confident Girls podcast, your guide to raising strong, confident daughters. I'm Melissa Jones, the founder of Girls Positivity Club and a teacher for over 20 years. In a world where girls often feel overwhelmed, anxious, and confused, this podcast is your go-to space. As caregivers, we navigate challenges together. I founded Girls Positivity Club to provide a place where you belong and get the tools to face today's hurdles. Consider this your regular check-in with a trusted friend, offering insights and practical tips for meaningful conversations. I'm here to help you feel confident on this journey of raising a generation of empowered girls. Let's dive in and raise those confident girls together. Hi everybody, welcome back to Raising Confident Girls. I'm so happy you're here today because we are talking about summer, and not just the season. And in North America, it is getting into summer now, but also the great things that you can do with your daughter, with the girls in your life, using a summer bucket list. So if you think about the summertime, a lot of parents have told me that the biggest challenges are, having overwhelming schedules, trying to figure out like, how can I coordinate different activities, camps, vacations, family time, relaxed time, while also working. And, I think that that's so common for so many parents. And unless you have summers off from your job, or you have a flexible schedule where you can take long periods of time off, it is a very common problem. Another one is keeping the kids engaged. So I think people have these grandiose ideas of, yeah, we'll just swim like every day. Like if you have a pool, like we'll just spend all of our time by the pool, and the pools are great. Or my kids are in camp, it'll be great. Like, well, everything will be covered. And while those things are both great activities to do in the summer, there are little things that you can do to keep kids engaged. And a lot of times, even when kids are busy and doing a lot of things, they'll still say they're bored, or they don't know what to do, or they'll be on their phone more than you like, or their video games or anything like that. So that's another common problem that parents have told me. And also budget restraints. So we would all love to go on a 2 or 3 month holiday or vacation, but most people can't do that. And although you could maybe take a nice vacation or holiday, it still is the day-to-day entertainment or ways to keep kids busy that is really can be a problem for a lot of families. And, at the same time, not overscheduling them to where they don't have any time to breathe in the summer either. So those are some top 3 problems. But I want to talk a little bit about the good things that come out of summer. So most people love summer because it is a time that feels different. It feels happy because especially if you're living in a climate that has 4 seasons, it's the only time it's really warm. And also it's time when you have your kids out of school for a period of time where you can have more flexibility in planning things. And, really what kids want is quality time. And although I've said this before on the podcast and just in general, although kids love to go on a vacation, what they really remember are those little moments that you spend with them of quality time. So that's a good thing. And it's also great to plan vacations. I mean, I think vacations and holidays are a great time for you to bond as a family, to do something new, to go to a place that's outside of your norm. And it's also good to have little moments at home. And knowing that, especially if you are a family that's on a budget this year, or you just like to, maybe spend more on a vacation or holiday and then spend other time doing little things that are local and that are very inexpensive, then that's also good too. Or I know I've had seasons where, we haven't had a lot of money and we haven't really been able to go on a vacation, and we chose to do more local things. So I have a summer bucket list for you. And, really this comes from my own experience of thinking back about memories I have of my own childhood, and also talking with girls today and what they value and what they want from their summer. So I think back about, yes, of course, I loved going on vacations. I had family who lived in Florida, they still do. And our vacations were always spending time with family. And we wouldn't stay in a fancy hotel. We would actually go to their house. And I loved it because I loved spending time with my cousins. And we would spend a week or two several times a year there. And then we would go on local excursions, or we would, plan a trip to Disney World or something like that. And I really cherish those times because those were the only times I really got to see my cousins that lived in Florida. And while that's all fine and well, it's also equally important to do things like make homemade ice cream with your kids, or swim and play games together, and do puzzles together, and do fireworks together, and roast marshmallows, and do all those little things that seem insignificant, but they're really powerful for your daughter, the girls in your life. And really, last week, I really focused on, since it was our last week of clubs and Girls Positivity Club, we focused on summer. And my middle school girls that I meet with, they were saying, like, oh, well, my family does a summer bucket list, which is great. And also, we talked about having an individual bucket list too. So we'll kind of talk about both, but the importance of having like things to do as a family and then things to do on your own as a girl. And I think we've talked before about, that's really building that independence and thinking about, how can I help her feel like she's in tune with what she needs in the summer? And although it may seem like a lot of girls, especially teen girls, may want to only be on their phones, that's not really what they want. Yes, they want their independence and they want some time for that because that's really socialization, but also they want time with you. They may not admit it, but they do. And one of the girls in my group last week said, even, she wants a break from her phone. Like, she feels like it is a lot to keep up with. And I think we often will take phones away or take screen time away as a punishment or a boundary. So I think they're two different things. But I think, having those boundaries in place is really important, where you do have those screen free times and those times when you bond as a family. And then also, they want to do other things, even though it may not seem like it, and they may kind of push back at first. The more you do those off screen types of things, the more connected you'll feel, and the more connected with themselves they'll feel. So, one of the girls in the group said, well, my family already does this. We have a bucket list with the months of the year on our, the months of the summer on our fridge. And my mom writes out all the activities we're going to do, and nothing intense, but like different things that they're going to do throughout the summer. And she was like, we already do that. And I said, well, do you have one for yourself? Like things you'd like to do? And she was like, well, no. And so I said, well, let's focus on that, since you already have a family bucket list, which is great, or a family plan of ideas for you guys for the summer, which I think is great. It's also good to teach them that they can do this for themselves too. So this doesn't mean that they're isolating themselves and only doing their own thing in the summer. It's a good mix of both. So when I think of a summer bucket list, there are different ways to do it. So one way is you can make it like a list. You can literally make it like a checklist if they're more linear in thinking or logical in thinking, and they like a list and you like to have check boxes, or make little squares that you can check off. That's one way to do it. You can organize it like the one girl described, in months of the summer, and you guys can plan different things. And that's also a really good visual way for you to show them when you have things going on too. And I know a lot of families already do that. So if you already do that, it could be something you just add on to, family activities, and maybe it's in a different color on your calendar, or you sit down, one evening or on a weekend and you brainstorm ideas of things you'd like to do. Another way is to do it more like a fun web. So what we did is we created, so if you're watching on YouTube, I'll show you what we did. So we made a summer bucket list that is more visual like this, and it has summer bucket list in the middle, and then I drew pictures and wrote ideas that the girls and I came up with around it to make it look more fun and visually appealing. So if you have especially creative girls who like to create things like this, then you could certainly do that and make it more of a creative project that she could be a part of as well, and your other kids too. So you might be asking, like, how do I do this? What do we do? So first of all, find your format. Is it a calendar? Is it a list? Does it have pictures? What do you want to do? So that's number one. Number two is think in categories, because what could happen is you could have a lot of similar things on it and it doesn't give you much variety. So if you have 15 different ways you're going to swim, that's great if that's all you want to do, but most families want to do something besides one activity. So, one category that you might think about is outdoor, because the weather's nicer, it's warmer, it's easier to do things, especially like I said, if you're in a four season state. It might be easier to think about outdoor things because when you are in a state that has a really cold winter or a country that has a really cold winter, it's really appealing to do things outside when it's nice out. So these can be things like hiking at a national park or a local park. This could be going on a picnic. This could be literally picnicking in your backyard. I've done that before with my kid. We've laid out a picnic blanket. I packed a picnic that I made in our kitchen. We walked, so many feet outdoors and we had a little picnic outside. There's something special about that. And I don't know what it is, but it just feels special. Even if you're eating carrot sticks outdoors, it just feels different. This could also be on your patio if you have a kid who doesn't love the grass. This could be, or they're very aware of bugs. You could have it on the patio, somewhere under a canopy, wherever that would feel comfortable. Camping is, I know some people like to camp and some people do not. So there are different types of camping. So you can go to a place where they set it all up for you. It's like glamping is the new thing that they call it. Or, you could rent a camper and you could do a little traveling with it and go and camp that way. Or you could camp in a tent. You could camp in a backyard. You could camp in a living room. Like, it doesn't have to be outdoors. If you have a kid who does not love to be outside, maybe camping in your living room, making a little fort and a campsite inside would be fun. Even though this is the outdoor category, you could adjust it. Going to a water park, going to an amusement park, going for a bike ride, rock climbing, nature trail. Like, these are all different activities, and you could brainstorm what you'd like to do outdoors and come up with those ideas together as a family. Maybe each person gets a turn and they get to pick a category or something they like to do. Or you go around and say, okay, the first category is outdoor. Everybody name one thing they want to do outdoors. Maybe one person says they want to do water balloons outdoors. Another person says they want to roast marshmallows over the fire outdoors. Whatever that is, then you write it down or you make a visual of it on your summer bucket list. Another category is culinary. Now, don't be afraid of this if you don't like to cook, because I know there are a lot of people that don't like to cook and they're like, oh, we don't want to do anything in the kitchen. But there are lots of different ways that you can do this, and you can make it really simple. There are a lot of different things that you can do, from a box cake mix, or you can make homemade pizza. You can do a backyard barbecue. You can invite friends over and have a barbecue and have everybody pitch in. That way you're doing one of the things, and maybe you're having fresh watermelon, or you're having fresh food that is in your local area from the farmer's market, whatever that would be. Maybe you're making homemade popsicles on a hot day, or you're making homemade ice cream. One thing that I mentioned before that I love to do with my family is my mom had this ice cream maker, and we would pour the ingredients in, the milk and the sugar, and we would put bananas in it. She would chop up bananas and we'd have banana ice cream. And that's the only time we ever had banana ice cream, was in the summer when she got her special ice cream maker out. And I remember that because it was very special. And I also like bananas. So, and then we also made pineapple ice cream. And so some unique flavors that we normally didn't have were special in the summer. So that's something else, just just something about what I remember. And then going fruit picking is really common too. So I know where I live in Indiana, there are fresh strawberry farms that you can go to, and you can pick fresh strawberries or blueberries or blackberries. I know I have family who live in West Virginia and they love to go blackberry picking. And then they make different desserts out of that, which is really fun. Or doing a pizza night. You can do a DIY pizza night, which is you can even buy the crust and buy the sauce and buy the toppings, and you just make your own pizzas. It makes it really special. And then bonus, if you have like a pizza oven that's outside, that could be a fun thing to buy if that's something that you're interested in. I know a family, a girl that her dad said that they love to do that on Friday nights. He gets his pizza oven out, they make fresh pizza. It's just like a fun family activity. So outdoor was the first category. The second one was culinary. The third is wellness and personal growth. So you may not think kids want to do this, but I think you might be surprised, especially if you ask your daughter, like, what's something that you would like to do that's active this summer? So maybe it's ziplining. Maybe it's starting a gratitude practice where you guys are, each of you before bedtime are writing down something you're grateful for and you put it in a little jar. Or you are saying your yays of the day. That's something in Girls Positivity Club we always do. It's like common language. We say, what's your yay? And then what's your nay? What was your high? What was your low? It could be doing a yoga class or doing some kind of a workout class together, or it can be volunteering together. So nonprofits like myself, we're always looking for volunteers, or I know there are food pantries that are looking for volunteers always, or an animal shelter that might look for volunteers in some way. So there's always ways to volunteer. And I know whenever I've done that, even with my teenager, it's been a really good bonding experience for all of us because it makes you appreciate what you have. And also, it's just something that you're all doing that's giving back in some way. And it could be, doing an obstacle course. So I had some girls with me on the show that I'm on called Lifestyle Live, and they set up an obstacle course in the studio. And it's so fun. I mean, I got hula hoops, cones, little squirt guns, and we took cotton balls and we used the air from the squirt gun to make the cotton ball move. And I had a sand pail and a bucket and a shovel, and the girls made up this idea where they carried different objects with the shovel, and they had to walk backwards through the cones and do all these things. So kids are so creative with coming up with ideas. And I know even when it's a rainy day, doing an obstacle course inside, even with pillows and things you have around your house, I think you'd be surprised by how creative kids can get with an obstacle course. And even the older girls, they may not act like they like it, but if you set up something like that, especially if you have a lot of people involved, they'll do it if like younger kids are involved and they're like teaching them how to do it, or they're being the role model or something like that, which is really fun. So, if there's something they want to learn, that's a personal growth area. It's like, what's something you'd like to learn more about? And maybe it's, for me, I took a photography class. I know a lot of girls that are interested in photography. So maybe they want to get involved in that and take a little class on that. Maybe it's they want to learn how to sew or crochet, or they want to learn how to do a new sport or something like that. So, YouTube is a wealth of knowledge for doing things like that. And I know I've said like this is a lot of these are cutting back on screens, but I think it's being intentional about it. And especially like drawing classes, you can stream a lot of things for free online. And local libraries have a lot of free classes that you can go to, like you yourself or your daughter or the girls in your life. So those are things to check out. I know I really tapped into my local library, especially when my son was young. We would go to all the story times, all the things that they had offered. Like there was something different every single day. And it was really nice to have that as a resource. Um, and then, we mentioned outdoor culinary wellness and personal growth, family fun and bonding. So this could be having a game night. playing Uno, playing cards together, playing anything. I mean, literally anything you could play together. Playing flashlight tag, that's a whole thing. If you don't know what that is, look it up. There are a lot of outdoor games you can do. Going to the park and doing the equipment together. And I mean, kids get the biggest kick out of, especially parents, doing things like that because you don't see your parents as maybe playing on the equipment or things like that. So it's like a fun way for you to be a kid and to show them that you can show them that side too. And then, a fort, creating a fort. Even the middle school girls that I worked with last week, they were like, I actually would like to do that and watch a movie in the fort. I think that would be so fun. Or building a Lego together. And again, I think we underestimate, or doing a puzzle together. I think we underestimate as kids get older that they don't want to do those things, but they really do. Watching fireworks together, going on a scavenger hunt, family talent show. So everybody coming up with their own little talent. And I know that can be out of people's comfort zones, but it's really fun. I mean, it can be something silly, and kids, again, love when you do that. And especially when you have extended family around, everybody has a certain amount of time to come up with some kind of a talent they can do. And it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. You don't have to be the best person in the world at it, but it's just fun for everybody to let their hair loose and just do a little talent show. And you may find out something you didn't know about someone in your family that they could do. And the next two categories are creative and travel. So creative is like take a painting class, take a pottery class, or do it yourself. There's kits you can order on Amazon, and you can learn how to do those things on your own. Build something together. So this could be an outdoor project. This could be a Lego, like I mentioned. This could be anything you build together. It could be a birdhouse. It could be anything. Doing photography together. So I mentioned earlier that was an interest of mine, and I think that could be a really cool thing for you to break out your old digital camera, or let them use your nice camera, or even their phones, to take pictures of nature, of different things, and really experiment with different effects and different ways to take pictures, different angles and perspectives. Do a garden project together. Let them help you plant flowers. I know last week I had the girls plant their dreams and show themselves like positive things as they were planting flowers. And a lot of them didn't really know how to do it. They didn't know how to dig the hole or use the pot to like take the dirt around and pat it down and know how deep to make it. So I think, again, it's easier for us to do these things ourselves, but involving them, or even painting the pots and things and making something look really cute, is really enjoyable for a lot of girls. Painting, drawing, and they don't care if you draw stick figures. They really don't. Or if you do abstract art. Like, that's the beauty of art, is it doesn't have to be perfect. And you taking a risk and showing them you can do that is huge. And it really shows them your vulnerability in doing something that may not be your strength. And if it is, that's beautiful. And you can show them how to do different things too. So those are really fun things to do. And then the last category is travel. So it doesn't always mean going on a big holiday or vacation, although those things are lovely and nice, and I love them. You can also go to a local museum, a local zoo, a local aquarium, go on a little road trip just for the day, go somewhere that's nearby, or just a nearby city or town or another state or province, and make a day of it. Like, just find out what locally is going on there and just go and do that. Go to historical landmarks, research, and help them say, let's do a little bit of research, especially if you have a girl who's really interested in history. Let's find out what's happened around here or in a nearby state or town or whatever, and let's go visit it. Would you like to do that? That would be really fun. Going to a fair. So this is really a big time of year, especially in the United States, where we have local fairs or festivals. So there's like a strawberry festival. There's this kind of a fair, especially if there's a certain type of like a cultural fair or something that you've never done before, they've never experienced before. That would be really fun. Going on a train or a boat ride is always really a great experience too. Or just going to a little getaway to a cabin or a beach, or if you do have the means to travel a little bit, going somewhere you've never been before, I think is really powerful. So these are all ideas for your bucket list, and there are lots more. And they can be as simple as catching fireflies and watching the sunset. I think, again, we underestimate the power of these bonding activities and experiences for our girls. So, what do you get out of this? Well, when you do these types of things, it enhances your family bonding. It really strengthens your bond and creates those good memories. It also increases your engagement and fun. It gives you variety, so you're not always doing the same things. It reduces that screen time. And then the third thing is it gives you improved organization and time management. So for those of us that like to have a plan, I know some people like that more than others, and there can be a balance of it too. It gives you a structure of some things to do and ideas that fight off the dreaded I'm bored. We always do the same things. So I hope that was helpful. Please let me know if there's something you love to do with your daughter, with the girls in your life in the summertime. I would love to share it. And as always, keep raising those confident girls. Thanks for joining another empowering episode of the Raising Confident Girls podcast. Share today's insights with caregivers and friends, building beautiful relationships with strong girls. Hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. We're not just a podcast, we're a community. Follow Girls Positivity Club on social media for more empowering content on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. This podcast empowers you, supporting incredible girls. Let's create strong, beautiful relationships with the girls in our lives. I appreciate you listening today. Stay confident, stay connected. Until next time, keep raising those confident girls. You've got this.